last night, my wife and I we were 10, so we were 8 people to come, most of whom didn't know each other. And we invited everybody with a theme. And the nature of the theme is that it's a little bit out of left field or out of zone of comfort. And the topic we talked about last night was, what is the single strongest facet of your identity that you have today, and what part of it might have faded over the past? What part of your identity might have faded over the past? Anyway, that was the theme, and everyone had to work on it. And of course, the conversation would occasionally break down into, splitting off into pairs and threesomes. But for the most part, we all listened to everybody. In other words, one person would have the floor. We have a round table because that's the best. And someone would speak and everybody listened. And it was just the comments that people had at the end was like, well, that's not so unusual. We don't do this anymore. And being able to be listened to be heard by strangers, it's a very compelling feeling. And as soon as you've had it, then you can generously give your time to listen to somebody else.
What did you notice from your guests? Were they happy? Were they exhilarated by the experience, or did some of them have trouble doing it or paying attention? Like, what did you see?
Well, so I have to be very intentional as the sort of the master of ceremony of the evening to make sure that the quiet person doesn't sort of skulk away in an introverted corner, so that everybody has their time to talk about their response. And inevitably, if that's done in a way, well, there has to be enough psychological safety for people to feel that they can say what they really want to say. So one piece of this, how this works, is I always have to warm people up. I don't go plunging into deep, dark conversations right away. I have a method that I bring people in, and a little bit of levity, and then I ensure that the conversation is, or at least the person speaking is listened to. And inevitably, I mean, you can imagine you're married, or at least you have children, but at the next day we get messages from these people, and one person said, just from last night, he said, I wish we'd filmed it. It was so delicious. I'd like to live it again.
That's cool. Maybe you should do a weekly thing called like Shut Up and Listen or something. Invite different people.
Well, you know what I do, Rich, is I practice it in my daily life. I try to listen to people. I mean, of course, I'm a storyteller and I'm a speaker, so holy smokes, it's sort of the hypocrisy of it all. But I'm always trying to model that behavior, and it's wonderful. I mean, here's another example, Rich. People listening will possibly relate to this. You go to a dinner and you're sitting. It's a seated dinner, and you go in and you're sitting at the seat, and you have these person to your right and person to your left, and start talking to them, and maybe get engrossed in a conversation with one of them. And it's happened to me numerous times. What I'll do is I'll just latch onto my neighbor and start asking them questions about their life, whatever they're doing. And I just follow them down. What they do, I make widgets. What sort of widgets? I help put widgets for cruise ships. Oh, wow, that's really interesting. Where do the widgets fit? And, you follow them down, right? At the end of the evening, it is not uncommon that the person would then, at the end, oh, you are such an interesting person, they'll say to me.
Oh, because you're interested in them, yeah.
Yeah, they don't even know my name, much less who I am, what I do. And that goes to the complete paucity or lack of people who are prepared to listen. So anytime you listen, it's a huge gift to somebody else. And by the way, rather than wax on about myself, about what I do, because I know me, or at least I know everything I've done, how boring can it be to talk about me all the time? Far more interesting is to learn about someone else's experiences, their feelings and everything else. And you'll come out richer for it.